Well, let's now cross over to our correspondents Noor Harazeen in Gaza and Stephanie Freid, who's in Netanya for us. Noor, Israeli strikes continue to pound Gaza. What is the situation today? Well, Stephanie, we will come back to Noor in a moment. But Stephanie, give us your view here. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to exact a mighty vengeance for Saturday's incursion. What is the situation in Israel, especially those affected towns?
Well, Beatrice, about the affected towns, as of this morning, Israel says that it has complete control of all the border area towns, that there may still be some operatives that are inside of Hamas operatives inside of Israel, but essentially they're declaring that they have control. What does that mean now going forward, which you were mentioning, Benjamin Netanyahu's declaration of war? What it means is he had said a day or two ago that the first priority for Israel was to get control of those areas. With the government now saying we've got control, or the army saying we've got control, it's safe to assume Israel's now going to move into the next phase of whatever the campaign that we're expecting to see will be on Gaza. Yes, of course, we're seeing airstrikes, but and it's speaking to a spokesperson for the military. He told me this isn't going to be like what we've seen in the past. In terms of Israel strikes on Gaza and former campaigns. So we're expecting to see, we're not sure. We're expecting to see a ground incursion. What goes beyond that? A reoccupation possibly of Israel, of Israel's reoccupation of Gaza. We're just not sure at this point. What I can tell you in the immediate right here and now, what's happening there now within the past half hour, there was a rocket barrage on central Israel, including Tel Aviv, also in a southern part, to be about 80 to 90 kilometers south of where I am now, where there were direct hits as well. Rockets landing right near the airport that you talked about, Beatrice, the main international airport. So that's the immediate situation now in terms of what's happening here. And yes, we're going to wait to see, and it's safe to assume that Israel's now going to move into its next phase.
So, Stephanie, the next phase, as you mentioned, remains unclear, but the cabinet declared a state of war after the attacks on Saturday. How are citizens reacting to the current situation?
Well, I can tell you from personal observation, and I can tell you, first of all, I'll tell you where we are and to talk about the reaction. Why am I in Netanya? After we finish with this live, I will go to the house of a man whose family was abducted, an infant child, a toddler, his wife. They were abducted in a border town and taken into Gaza, and he has seen their images surface from videos that have surfaced on social media inside Gaza. So we're going to talk to him about what he's going through, what's happening, and that's why we're here. I can also tell you that just from being around wherever we have been today, yesterday, people are openly mourning. They're crying because of the numbers of victims. Almost no one, it's a small country, obviously, people know people. Almost no one is unscathed. People know victims or families of victims or are related somehow. And then another personal story is that we were along the Gaza border area on Sunday, yesterday, and Gilly is the camera person that I work with. He found a cell phone on the ground in Sderot, which is a border town. He picked it up, he charged it. A few hours later it rang, and people were asking for the name of the person whose cell phone it is. It turns out that person was attending that party where there was a mass killing of the operatives, mass slaughter of the party goers. And the police called Gilly on that phone this morning. It looks like the family would like to have that phone because the person who owned the phone is no longer alive. So those are just a few of the stories, a few of the things that we're seeing. There's a state of war. If the government's saying it, the people are absolutely feeling it, Beatrice.